to you from the Oneida Lake Riding Gun Club. It's the new Oneida Lake Show. It's the new Oneida Lake Show. Cause the old one wasn't good enough. Cause the old one wasn't good enough. Sponsored by Anglers Bay, Bartow Road Bait and
Tackle.
Hi folks, Rod Gaffredo here at Bartow Road Bait and Tackle and the new Oneida Lake Show, along with Pete from Anglers Bay and Cottages. And how are you this fine evening?
Pretty good. Pretty interesting out there. We were just talking about how this ice that doesn't seem to want to go away is going to impact the opener of walleye.
Well, I mean, we can really honestly look at the winter of 14 and 15 and we can get a pretty good idea. That's the latest I remember fishing on the ice, and here we are basically the end of March. I mean, March ends on Saturday, and there's still a lot of ice out there. Accessible? Not really. Up north, they're still fishing on Goose Bay. They're still fishing on Lake of the Isles. There's still some Adirondack lakes that are still fishing good, even though they're starting to lose some shoreline. But here, man, I don't know. It's pretty incredible how much is still out in the middle, but it's basically a big floating iceberg at this point. And now with the rain we're getting last night and today and into tonight, it's going to make things sketchy. So I'm hoping people are just staying off or fishing the locks. Sodus Bay is getting hammered. They're catching crappies right off the bridge. Phoenix, there's perch. Lock 23, there's perch. I heard a little rumor Big Bend had some crappies being caught today. There are fishing opportunities without the ice, guys and gals. I just want you to know that for sure. So I think safety here becomes essential because now we're at a tipping point. I really do. Even though the times are going to get a little bit cooler, the daytime sun is a little bit higher, a little bit warmer. Just a lot of things coming into play right now, and I don't know. It's going to be interesting to see what happens. As far as walleye goes, they're going to run. They're not going to be stopped. The biological clock is going to tell them when. I have a hunch it's going to be within the next 2 weeks, whether the ice is gone or not. Just hope that the hatchery is prepared for it and they'll do what they know how to do. I know the perch are already loose and dropping eggs, so the walleyes can't be far behind. You know, the other thing is this: how high is the water going to be for the opener? Is it going to be warm, cold? What's going to happen? I guess we need to see this cold pattern break and then really let the lake start to become, you know, into its normal spring pattern. I know one thing: it's probably going to be a pretty darn good opener. I think there's anything can be said less than that. I mean, I think there may probably be some fish still in the creeks at that point. It should be just awesome. So, I don't know. That's the big thing is I've seen boats getting pulled out. There's guys running to Sodus. There's guys running to Sandy. There was a pontoon boat out on Sandy Pond yesterday checking things out. There's a lot of fishing opportunities. Guys are running to the Finger Lakes. Most of the Finger Lakes are wide open. Perch bites on pretty much everywhere. I haven't heard a lot about bluegills and sunfish. I've got some folks stopping and looking for them, but I can honestly say I haven't heard a whole lot yet. Crappies are happening. The perch are happening. I guess up in Oswego they're doing some browns off the wall, a few steelhead here and there. There's already been some boats on Lake Ontario dragging planer boards catching browns. I was at Brennan's Beach today. We have a camp there, and I got to tell you, the snow's gone. It's pretty cool. You leave here where we got snowbanks though. You go 20 miles north, there's no snow at Brennan's, none. And there's no ice on the lake up there. The lake is actually a little bit low. It was good to see. If it stays like this and this slow melt continues, I don't think we're going to have the flooding issues we did last year. So there's a lot of good and a lot of bad. I myself, I'm ready for it to get warm. I've had it. How about you? How about you?
I'm absolutely ready for it to get warm. Hey, we were talking to earlier. You had the show last week on the Big East show, and then before that, the Bassmaster Classic.
Yeah.
And I know you've been pretty pumped to tell everybody about that too.
You know, it's no secret that I am a Major League Bass fan. I'm not just a competitive angler. I'm a fan of the sport of professional fishing because I've watched it grow from its infancy to what it is today. And what Kim and I experienced down in South Carolina was just awesome. I don't even know how to put it into words other than it was bigger than life. We attended the Classic Expo for 3 days. And in 5 hours a day for 3 days, we barely saw it. If you like to look at fishing tackle and boats and other industry related stuff, you should go to a classic just to go to the expo. It's free. You don't have to pay anything to get into the expo. But, you know, you walk through there and every boat manufacturer is there. Just about every rod manufacturer is there. Reel manufacturers, lures, you name it, it's there. And then the other thing that really caught me as cool is every time you turn around, there's a living legend. You know, one day, oh, there's Roland Martin, and there's Bill Dance, and there's Jimmy Houston, and there's Rick Clunn. You know, by the way, there's Wild Bill from Deadliest Catch, who, by the way, is one really cool-ass dude. We had a nice conversation with him. Big guy, my goodness gracious. I wouldn't want to make that man mad if I was on his crew. You know, and that was just one aspect of a weekend where we were exhausted from vacation because there was so much to do and see. The weigh-ins were spectacular. If you can imagine the Onondaga County War Memorial at about half as many seats more, that was the arena we were in. We were at the Boncours Wellness Arenas. And it was a beautiful building, beautiful arena. And we sold it out with fishing fans. It's hard to... Sunday for the final weigh-in was really hard to grasp how amazing it was. It was loud in there. You couldn't hear yourself think, it was so loud. We had great seats right down on the floor, right by the stage. Got to see two really good friends of ours, Jamie Hartman and Stan Sypek, walk across that stage. It's every bass fisherman's dream to be on that stage, and those guys were there. And we were very proud to be there to support them. Neither one of them made the cut, unfortunately, but they both had great showings. Then came the final weigh-in. Boy, you know, this sport has come a long way in a short time. I don't think there's any question that the greatest angler of all time is Kevin Van Dam. I think he finally passed Rick Clunn. He has 4 classic wins. He has 7 Angler of the Years. He has, I think, 30 Elite Series level wins, $7 million in winnings. I mean, the guy is the best of the best. He's also 49 years old. We're witnessing something in the sport right now that I think is phenomenal for the future. Jordan Lee, young man out of Alabama. He fished for the Alabama Crimson Tide. He made his way through the college Bassmaster Series. He won the college championship a few years ago to qualify for the Elite Series. He's won a couple tournaments. He's last year's Classic winner. And he did something that only Van Dam and Clunn has done. He won back-to-back. He came from behind on day 3 with a 14-pound, 5-ounce bag to take the win. I felt bad for Jason Christie. The guy had a 5-pound lead going in. But when the chips were down, he didn't weigh a limit. He was 1 fish short. And he lost to Jordan by 1 pound. I know what it's like to lose by a pound in a regional local tournament. It sucks. Can't imagine losing the biggest tournament on earth by a pound after having that 5-pound lead. He handled it graciously and humbly. But the bottom line is at 27 years old, Jordan Lee has 2 classic wins already. He's halfway to Clunn, he's halfway to KVD, and he's 27 years old. He's great for the sport. He's a humble kid. He's a nice kid. He'll take time to talk to you when you're around him. And by the way, his little brother was also top 10. So the future's bright in the sport, and what we got to see was just, you know, they had dock diving, the dock dogs. They had that set up there. It was mind-blowing to see it. And to see the emotion on the face of the anglers. This was what we all dream of. And I would just say to you, if you enjoy competitive fishing, if you're a bass fan in any way, go to a classic. It's worth it. Here's a good one. So my wife is well known for overpacking when we go on trips. I'm usually trying very hard to make sure that the checked bag is at 50 pounds exactly. Like going to Vegas, I had to pull 4 pounds of shoes out and stuff them into the carry-on. So we got out of Syracuse for our 4-day trip. 4 days, folks. And somehow the suitcase was 41 pounds, which was good because I knew we were coming back heavier. Well, another thing about the Classic, when you go to the expo, free stuff. Unbelievable amounts of free stuff. Not to mention the stuff we bought. So we're packing the suitcase on Monday morning, and I'm like, oh man, we added a lot to this. So I purposely put more into the carry-on. I stuffed that thing. I had to sit on it to get it zipped. We get to the airport, put the check bag on the scale, 49 pounds. We came back about 12 pounds heavier than we went down between the two. And we just laughed our asses off. It was pretty funny at the time, but, you know, we just laugh about it because the stuff we came home with is unbelievable. It was unbelievable. If you wanted to wait in lines, you could come home with anything. We have 2 hats that are signed by the entire Skeeter Pro team. We have a hat that I had signed by a bunch of legends. By the way, our 5-year anniversary for Barry Towels coming up. Those might just end up being given away. Just some really cool stuff. So I know I've babbled on about this long enough, but I can't tell you enough. I'm mad at myself for waiting till I was 48 years old to go to my first classic. And these guys are on the floor down there. They're just like anybody else. They're very accessible. The guys that didn't make the classic, I felt bad for them because they still had to be there at the expo. That's gotta suck. You're not out there, but you still gotta be there. I can't imagine that. And one last quick story about down there. I had something pretty fun happen. Mike Urema from I-1 Baits came down. We were hanging out for a while with him and Ed Hatton. And we were talking to Josh Douglas, who is an FLW pro, at the Shimano booth. And Mike explains to Josh, "Oh yeah, Josh, he owns a tackle shop in Brewerton up on Bartow Road." Josh looks at him and goes, "I know. I go there every time I'm in town." And Mike was like, "Really?" He's like, "Oh yeah." He goes, "I know, Rob." And I was just kind of like, "I'm in South Carolina, and I'm known." So yeah, we had a lot of fun. I'm glad I had a moment to tell you guys about it. It just go to it. I hope we get some bigger tournaments here again. This year the lake's getting a break. But still, Waddington is hosting the final Elite Series up on the St. Lawrence. I would say go up there to see that. It's a lot of fun. You'll enjoy yourself. Even if you're walleye people, it's fun.
Sounds reasonable. FLW doing anything on this lake though this year?
Well, the BFL will be here. It's here every year. I think it's July 14th this year. The BFL is a 200 boat tournament. It's it's the regional level. It's 2 steps to the FLW tour. Okay. I think we might see. I'm waiting on something to happen. The Elite Series is not announced where its Angler of the Year tournament is, or where its Classic Bracket Bash is. The Bracket Bash is the last 8 guys that didn't make the Classic go and fish against each other for one spot. It's kind of cool. It's tense. I heard a rumor that they were scouting Western New York Little Lakes for that. Now, what is known is that the Angler of the Year is usually pretty close to where the final Elite Series is this year. The final Elite Series is in Waddington. I have this inkling that we may find out it's going to be either on Oneida or Kyoto.
That would be cool.
I'm hoping it is. That's a 50-guy tournament. That's the final points of the year. If you get in the top 50, you fish it. That's where Angler of the Year is crowned. I would love to see that here. That would be an awesome event for this lake.
I think they put some big weight up too.
Oh my gosh, yeah. Because it'll be, the final Elite's in August, which means that the Angler of the Year will probably be in September, which is right about the time the smallmouths here, are really starting to sack up. So yeah, I do think it would be an awesome event. If I hear anything further, I'll let you guys know.
Sounds good.
Yep.
Everything ready in the shop for this year? What's your hours like right now till walleye opener?
Well, we're still open 6 to 6 during the week and 6 to 2 on Sunday. However, I'm glad you asked. This Sunday, Easter Sunday, we are closed. I do realize it's opening day of trout. However, throughout my retail career, I believe that there are 3 days that should be set aside for family: Thanksgiving, Christmas, and Easter. And we will be spending it with our family. So,
what about Halloween?
No, Halloween doesn't count. Maybe for you, you're an ugly bastard. I mean,
Halloween, New Year's Eve,
that's
St.
when
Patrick's Day.
Well, I mean, Halloween's when you feel most at home. You're with your people.
That's right.
Yeah. So we are going to stay open late on Saturday night, so people that need bait, they'll be fine. But we will be closed on Sunday.
And you're gonna, for walleye opener, you're gonna do
walleye opener 24 hours.
Craziness there.
Oh yeah, that's a party. You might want to stop by. So you might want to stop by. That'd be fun.
We'll be ready.
Yeah, I'm sure. Anything else you got going on?
It's funny. I was talking to you. I was up really late, as you know, suffering from insomnia.
Not you.
Read some very odd things, and I was going through that stimulus bill, and there is money. My jaw was on the ground. There is money in there that's directed toward Oneida Lake.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Well, you're involved. I know you're really involved in the North Shore goings on. What did you find out?
Well, I've got some calls out.
Okay.
I talked to some of the local politicians. They weren't even aware of it. So this is all federal money that's going to be coming to Oneida Lake. So I do have some calls out. We'll keep everyone posted with it, but it is potentially either crazy or genius, really, is my opinion on it. So,
what are you doing?
Well, I'll get into it. I want to confirm everything.
Okay.
I'm going to be able to do that in the next couple days here. Maybe for the show next week, I'll have that information. But
I'm curious.
It's pretty wild, but it could dramatically impact fishing here.
Well, hey, you know what? The lake is a federal waterway now. It's
Right.
controlled by the federal government and the Coast Guard. So, hey, I could see something. You got my attention.
Yeah, it's interesting. We're definitely looking into it. Wanted to thank all the Vietnam veterans who finally got your day today. Talked about that on the site today. My dad's a Vietnam vet. I'd like to thank him, all the other vets. It's really appreciated what you did, and it's way overdue. And I used the word disgusting on the site today, and it is. And again, I went back to CNN and Fox News, nothing on it. There's all this garbage on there, nothing about the vets, and I just think it's ridiculous, and everyone deserves our thanks.
You know what's sad is it took till we had our 45th president for one of them to make this an official day. I'm thankful he did. I have a lot of friends who served in Vietnam. I lost a cousin in Vietnam. I know a lot of these guys who deserve the same thanks that every other one of our veterans get, even more so. They put up with a lot of crap when they came home, and I'm just hoping they understand how much we truly, truly appreciate them.
Thanks, everybody. We will see you next week. Have a good night.
Good night.
That ice is crazy out there.
Stay off it.
Stay off of it.
Just stay off it.
Thanks, everybody.